Welcome to the Getting Real with Hilary show, where ordinary heroes tell extraordinary stories during unique and never been heard before conversations with your host, Hilary Arno Burns. Hilary's unique listening and way of asking questions results in conversations that aren't usually talked about, so you can create the life that you really want but are afraid you can't really have. We are demonstrating the greatness in the human spirit and creating a world where we all reclaim our birthright of joy, happiness, purpose, and passion. Now, here's your host, Hilary Arno Burns.
Welcome to the Getting Real with Hilary show. And today we have a very special guest. We have the author of this book, The Magic of Modern Art. Robyn Jamison, I'm just going to keep the book up here because I'm reading the back. Robyn Jamison is an artist on a mission to make the magic and wonder of modern art accessible to everyone in the world. Robyn is a visual artist and published author with a Master of Fine Arts degree in painting and drawing. Her artwork is in collections worldwide. So welcome, Robyn. Did you like how I held up your book?
That was great. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is a beautiful, beautiful book. If you were touching it, it's got art in it from some of the people that she interviewed. It's just beautiful, beautifully printed. Really, a work of art. So, Robyn, welcome. And I love your earrings. Those are so cool.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, it's great.
It's an honor.
Yeah. All right. So tell us your life story first. I won't say it, but where were you born? Where were you born?
I was born in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
And I was an adopted child. So I was in foster care until I was, I guess, 10 or 11 months old. And then I was moved into my adoptive family. And I was I was the odd kid in the family. I was an artist from the get-go. When I was 3, I demanded dancing lessons. And I wanted to learn to play the piano, and I finally got to do that when I was 8. But I didn't play with dolls. I was always drawing and painting and dancing, and so I was. My case argues for nature over nurture.
Yeah.
Being an artist. And there were no other artists in the family. And I was, that Robyn, she's just an artist, was kind of the conversation about me in my family.
Did you have siblings? Did you have any?
No, I was an only adopted child. I had cousins that I was really close to, though.
Wow. So they stayed in St. Louis?
Yes, I grew up in the same house my whole until I moved away to college.
Wow. Okay. And where'd you go to college?
I went to undergraduate school at the University of Kansas in Lawrence, Kansas.
Wow.
And absolutely loved it. I got a Bachelor of Art in Education degree. The education degree was my parents' insistence, but it turned out to be a good thing. I never taught full-time in a public school, but I've done a lot of teaching. Dance and art and yeah.
So that was your undergraduate. And then what was your graduate? Oh, the Master of Fine Arts.
The Master of Fine Arts was focused in painting and drawing with a minor in sculpture. And I did that at the University of North Texas.
Wow.
Much later.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you graduated college as an artist. And then what'd you do?
I moved to Texas. And I started out in Fort Worth, and my first job was working at what was then called the Fort Worth Art Museum. And it was a small but very progressive contemporary art museum, and had, oh my gosh, the most amazing exhibits. And while I was there, I got to meet a lot of really famous artists, and I even participated in doing installations in some of the cases. So that was really fun.
Wait, I have 2 questions. One, I'm writing down the second so I don't forget. How did you pick Texas to go to?
I was getting my undergraduate degree in Kansas, and I had a really good friend who was getting her PhD at the same time, and I wanted to change. And she said, "Well, I'm moving back to Fort Worth. Why don't you come too?" or something like that. And I said, "Okay."
And you went.
And I moved. I didn't have a place to stay. I didn't have a job. I came in an MG midget, and I had like a few clothes in the back, and that was about it.
Wow. So you left college and just went?
Yep.
You didn't go home first?
Nope.
Wow. So what about all your other stuff from college? Or that was it?
Well, I had gotten married while I was in college. We had been separated by the time I did my student teaching. And so part of the move was, just to have a completely new life.
Okay.
I didn't have that much stuff that I cared about. I took my art, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the art dealer or was that?
No, he was a later.
Okay. Wow.
Actually, I'm looking, one of the really significant breakthroughs in my life was when I did the S training in 1981 and learned so much about communicating and became so much more available myself and knew myself so much better that I think that had I had the S training, that when I got married so young, we might have had a really successful marriage for many years.
Wow.
But
So
he was a great guy.
How long were you actually married for?
Oh, not very long.
No.
3 years.
3 years. Through college. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah. And we're in communication and
Oh,
really appreciate each other.
wow. That's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So you said you participated in installations. What is I know I should know what that is, but what is it?
Well, it's when you're actually putting a show up at the museum. And the kinds of installations that I worked on, there was an installation crew that did it full time. But then if something was very big or complex, then they would have other people get involved. And my favorite one, there was one by an artist named Larry Bell, and there was a giant outside concrete thing that you could walk through. It's kind of circular, and we painted day glow paint on it, not day glow, night glow paint. So I got to work on the painting so that it would absorb the light during the day and glow at night. So that, and sometimes I would paint, we would paint the walls between each show. So I would be one of the people who helped paint the walls, and sometimes I got to, hang things. I didn't curate. I didn't choose what was going to be in the show or where it was going to be placed. But boy, did I learn how to do that. It really came in handy. And looking at what I do now, it's as if everything contributed to my being able to do what I do now. Have the right experience and the right skills.
So did you love it? You just loved being at the museum?
I did. I loved it. I loved it. What I didn't love was hearing some of the people who visited the museum be frustrated by not understanding how to experience the art and have the freedom to really have their own relationship to it. People would say, I'm sure everybody's heard the phrase, "My 5-year-old could do that," or "What makes that art," or "That's ridiculous," "That's ridiculous," or "I don't get it," or "I could," those kinds of comments. And what amazed me about hearing people say that, and of course there are plenty of people who were not saying things like that, but when I heard people say that, number one, I thought, oh, I love this art. It's if you just knew how to get at it, you would love it too. And then also I was thinking about the fact that the people who were saying that in the museum who were the people who were coming to the museum. And I wondered what it was like for the people who didn't come at all. People who are completely alienated or disinterested. And so very early on, I wanted to make a difference with that. And I thought I could.
So so is that through the book, or have you always been making?
It didn't start out as a book. No, I started out, I had this idea that I knew what would work. So I started putting together small groups of people I knew and taking them to contemporary art exhibits and trying out the method that I fine-tuned and included what I do now. And it worked. They would come away with an ability to appreciate that art deeply that they didn't have when they started. And the confidence, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
To feel free. And I always put the emphasis on encouraging people to spend time with art that they didn't like or didn't understand. Because I figured if they could get that art, if they could appreciate that art, then the rest would all be so much easier.
Right. So let's take someone like me. I don't go to museums. I'm like this.
Ooh.
Now, why did I become that way? I don't know. I think when I was little, I made a this is a stupid story, but I made it was flat. It was a face. And I made the nose stick up.
Oh, cool.
Like Pinocchio.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was a phallic symbol. I was young and I felt like my father's friends were laughing at me. I don't even know if they were, but I just decided I'm not good at art. I don't do art because it was painful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know what else I did, but
that breaks my heart. I've heard so many stories like that.
But I just didn't know, but I didn't like being laughed at. So I think I just checked out like I did from a lot of things like that.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
So thank you. Thank you.
It really makes me sad.
Oh,
because it gave you a future without art.
Right. And so if I go to a museum, I just kind of like walk through, boom, I'm done and wait for everyone else. Like I don't, when you were, because I did read the book and I'm like, wow, there's so many different kinds. There's like contemporary versus mod. Like there was so much that I don't know, all the different, acrylic versus this and there's just so many, like there's lists of things that I didn't know. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking at it right now. See, and the medium, color scheme and all that. Like, so
the news is you don't have to know that to fall deeply in love with it.
But so like, I'm looking at the painting behind you. I know that you made it and it's a self-portrait. And I'm like, so you would take someone into a museum and they would just.
So what do we do?
Yeah.
Okay. I love talking about that.
I mean, why not? Why not?
So actually, you brought
We didn't get to how old, the rest of your life, but we can go back to that. So
we either will or we won't.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I did the tour. I'll go back to that for a second. I did the tours. They worked. And then after a while, I thought, wait a minute. I can't do this, change the world 10 people at a time. So that was when I actually started the book. But I started it way, way back. But anyway, so getting to what you're talking about, the kind of work that I do with people that opens that up. So it really starts with where you began. Like what happened to you about art? Where did you get cut off? Where did you get bonked on the head, so to speak? Where did you
feel stupid?
Where did you get your feelings hurt?
Yeah.
Because that stuff is far reaching. And those adults, they had no idea what they were.
I don't even know if they were laughing. They might not even have been it.
They probably thought it was really clever that you had the nose stick up. That's what I think. And they just thought it was so funny. So like funny, not like dumb funny,
Yeah. I don't even know who they were, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
said. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, kids, we interpret stuff and don't know that that's our interpretation.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I do is actually get in with people about, what is their relationship with art and where has it been, where have there been painful incidents? And then so my assertion is that everyone has a natural, innate affinity for all kinds of art, and that includes modern and contemporary art. And that if people aren't having a great time with it, it's not because they need to learn more, it's because something's in the way. And what's in the way, I say, are those painful incidents and the things we make up about that. Like, I'm not that kind of person who can have I'm not an art person, I'm not this, I'm not that, and beliefs about how art should be. So most people in the United States, if they're lucky, had art classes of some sort until they get through maybe 6th grade. And the people in their classes who were considered the class artists were the ones who could draw well. And draw well means representing reality. Like they could make a face look like a person. They could do a tree that looked like a tree. And since people's education in art, unless they specifically take art classes later separately or on purpose, that's the end. So no big surprise that people think that how you know if art is good is if it looks realistic, or how you know
if you're good.
Yeah, or if it's pretty.
Yeah.
Or if you understand it right off the bat. So those kinds of things are what limit us from being able to really have the experience of the art and be curious and open and have wonder without being stopped by our judgments and assessments and I call them counterproductive beliefs.
So do you actually go through that with people? Like, where do you do this? At the museum?
Well, it depends on sometimes at the museum, like before we actually do the art, go to the art, sometimes I'll have people go find a piece of art that they really have trouble with or dislike, and then come back and talk about what was it about that they found difficult or unpleasant. And sometimes we'll just have the conversation. I've done it at people's houses. In their homes, I've done those conversations in like a little separate area in museums, or it could be done in a coffee shop, wherever. But it is important to do that first.
Wow. And what do you think makes you so passionate about this? You know what I mean? Like, why do you care if people like modern art? Do you know? Like, as I'm reading the book, I'm like, well, wow, she really, really cares that people get this, And I was like,
it's because of what it makes available. So first of all, when you have access to really experiencing or being with art, it takes you to another place. It's like there's a sense of being transported. There's a sense of being connected to the very highest aspect of humanity. There's a sense of being connected with the eternal or with the divine, or there's a spark. Art has been produced in every civilization. We are hardwired to have a deep connection with art.
Wow.
And that includes all of it. And so when people actually have that, when they get freed up and have it, something becomes available that's not available any other way. Just like without music, music brings a certain thing to us. Visual art brings a certain thing to us that isn't available any other way. And I assert that modern and contemporary art, which are only divided by eras, just slightly different era, those are the expressions of artists of our own time. And it's important not to be locked out of that, because it's our own culture. And you can see it once you get freed up, you can see it. I have one of the people I interviewed is a director of a wonderful nonprofit gallery in Austin, Texas called Women and Their Work. And she says, does the art look chaotic? Well, look around you. Does our world seem chaotic? It's a reflection of today. So does that answer your question, Hilary?
Yeah.
Why bother?
Yeah. And I'm wondering if I ever experienced it. Probably not. I mean, I could look at a beautiful sunset and the colors,
Yes.
and I can appreciate that.
Yeah. That's also wonderful.
But I don't know if I've ever really taken the time. I mean, we were up in Vermont. When was it? A year and a half ago. Well, with the course, with the consultant's vacation course. And, we went to museums.
Right.
And so I walked around with people because if it was me, I would have been like, whoop, done. Well, wait, coffee shop. I met actually with Tobin and another couple, and he was explaining stuff. But I was reading, I think I was more reading about it.
Yeah.
Really being with the paintings.
It's really different. They're different realms. There's the
Yeah.
one part about the information, and there are those of us who are really hungry for that. Like we want to know everything, and we want to know the history, and we want to know what the artist's life was like, and we want to know how did they, as an artist, one of the things that I sometimes get caught up in is how did they do that? I wonder how they did that. And but that's all really great, and it's not the same thing as being blown away by the experience.
Right. No.
And so once the counterproductive beliefs, or at least some of them, enough of them are dispelled so that people can kind of let them go as they see other ones, just naturally. Then we do a tour where we only look at maybe 2 or 3 pieces of art, starting with one that you really don't like. And we spend time with it. And while we spend time with it, I provide prompts about what to pay attention to. Like, what are you feeling? What do you see?
Wow.
And I have people look at the art from different distances. Pick one piece, look way back, go way far away from it, get way up close to it, try it from different angles. You'll look at it all different ways, notice everything you can. And then you'd start to notice not just the work of art, but how you are being affected by it. Are you upset? Are you happy? Are you sad? Do you have body sensations? What thoughts are going through your head? Notice if you're trying to figure something out, things like that, but slowly and gently. And then at the end of that, we have a conversation to see, how was that and what opened up and how did it change over time?
And what do people say?
Well, they say all different things. They say, oh, that's such a good question. It's so rich. So one woman who came to an event that I did at the McNay Museum in San Antonio, said that she got her relationship with art back. When she was a little kid, she had an incident kind of like you. And she had wanted to be an artist.
Wow.
And she ended up being a math teacher. And she came to me in tears and she said, I just got it back. And I had this other
Want to become an artist, I wonder?
I don't know. She was part of the museum's group and I didn't get to have contact information for people. And then I had this other woman recently come up to me at the end and she said, Robyn, I have an 8-year-old daughter. She had a traumatic birth and she was incubated for several months. We didn't know she was going to live. And she didn't start talking, and she did live. She didn't start talking till she was 3. She's now 8 and she's just now starting to learn to read. But what she loves to do is art. And I'm going to cry. And she said, and now I can appreciate, you said that art is an access to growth and development. Mm-hmm. And now I can appreciate that may always be her main entrance, her main access to growth and development. And I'm free with her. So a lot of the things are unpredictable, but one of the things that I emphasize also is that you don't have to like a work of art to be deeply moved and impacted by it. You can really have a deep appreciation for art that you didn't like when you started, and you might not like it when you're done. You don't have to like it to have value from it.
So let's say I'm looking at a piece. I would have to suspend something like that. I don't want to do that. Like when I'm doing yoga, like I just want to stop. I just want, like I don't have the patience to sit. So I'd have to suspend that, or I'd have to acknowledge that I don't want to do this. I don't.
Yeah.
I want to run. You can't make me, and all that stuff. And then, do you have to quiet your mind?
Yeah, we do. We take a few deep breaths, close our eyes, take a few deep breaths.
Yeah.
And then the whole encounter with the art, the whole time when you're exploring the art, is very meditative. It's quiet. The prompts that I give I come and whisper them. It's all inside of a respect for people's being with the art.
Wow. You know what's weird? I had this thing that I did.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I made this. I have this woman. She's got this process, and it involves painting. So I'm just as you're talking, I'm looking at this,
All right.
and I'm just like, I almost can get it. Like I almost can get it. Like there's something about it when I can just be with it.
Yeah.
And I was just,
and you suspend judgment.
Yeah.
And I ask people if they're willing. I think it's really important to be willing for this from any other time. To be willing and to bring curiosity.
Here, I want to show you this thing.
And beginner's mind. Oh, that's wonderful.
We were talking about money and how to elevate. I was supposed to paint how to elevate and be free with money. And what was there was like angels to like let go and allow them to guide me. You know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
Maybe there's some hope here.
Yeah. Maybe I should come and do it with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many museums in New York. We could just.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah. My daughter's in. Yeah. So, okay. All right. So
I already have ideas about how I would do it there.
Yeah. But I'm looking, like I can almost get the spiritual feeling of it, even though it's just a thing I kind of scribbled, but okay. All right. I can get it. I'm moving. So, all right. So, yeah. So I guess
you're the perfect person for this.
Because I'm on the other side. I'm on the other side. No, I was a musician. But I was, read the music, play. I never could, so it wasn't like I let loose. Do you know what I mean? I was, I don't know if you'd call it clinical, but probably, task, get it done, leave, So this requires like breathing.
Yeah.
And slowing down.
Yeah. And it's worth it. It's really, really worth it.
But when you think about all the people who don't know this, now I can get your mission. Wow. I'm moved now. Wow. And that you've like dedicated your life. I mean, since you were a little kid. But I think you told it in the book, was it 8 or 12 when you really got the people saying the stuff like, yeah, 5-year-old can do it. Like how old were you then when you really
That was when I was working at that museum.
Okay. So you were out of college. Wow.
Yeah, I was just out of college and just deeply in love with art and contemporary art and getting to be at that museum that was so wonderful.
Wow. But that's so cool that you have that passion and you still have the passion,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
fair,
but it's a
long time to really get into full, like to really have a life where this is what I do,
Yeah.
But, and so it seemed, and it wasn't really, I didn't think it was possible when I first wanted to be the person who could turn everyone on to this. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't have financial resources. I didn't think I had the time. And I did a lot of different things along the way. Some of the time I was working as an artist full time. Some of the time I spent a couple of years being a freelance writer and got really trained by someone who took me on.
Wow.
I did a lot of different things. And it turns out that they all really have contributed to my ability to do this now.
And
So
you
I
were
started writing the book when I was like, I don't know, 40 years ago.
wow. You were making something. Was it ceramic? What was the thing that you were making and selling?
Oh yeah, I was doing one of a kind commissioned ceramics.
So how big were they?
Oh, they were a variety. A lot of them were vases that were like maybe 18 inches tall, or some of them were even smaller. They're actually on I have a second website, which is robynjamison.com, which is actually under renovation right now, but you can see a bunch of the ceramics that I did. And there were wall pieces. I did a ton of ceramic jewelry. I would do these really elaborate neck pieces that had many pieces, and I'd do like 2 or 3 different pairs of earrings to go with different parts of the design, and it was really fun. I even went through a short time when I was kind of a manufacturer. I don't know if you go back far enough for this, but there was a little period of time when you could get these little ceramic whimsical pins that people would wear. They were hearts and rainbows and flowers and moons and stuff like that. And I had started doing those. So I was working as a recreation instructor for the city of Fort Worth when I lived there. And I had to teach slip cast ceramics. And and people were making, bunny rabbit mugs and turkey platters for Thanksgiving, and all kinds of stuff that I really had no desire to do. But when you're an artist and you're immersed in some medium, you'll find something to do with it. So out of that came the ceramic work that I did. And I did these little pins, and I did them before anyone else. And they were like hearts with wings and rainbows with little pots of gold. And I would carve them individually in clay. And it was really, and I actually was selling them through the Dallas Trade Center. And then I got really, really bored.
Oh,
I made molds, and I was doing with like production,
Yeah.
And it was fun for a little while just to see that I could do it, but it didn't last very long.
Wow. All right.
And then I started just doing the commissioned work.
Wow. All right. We're going to take our commercial break, believe it or not, and then we'll be right back with more of this story. This is really cool. Really cool. All right. Be right back after a word from our sponsor. Parents and teachers, imagine a classroom where every child belongs, where kids are seen, known, and part of a real community. That's the world Kokori creates. Kokori isn't just another program. It's hands-on, playful, and filled with activities kids love, all while building skills that matter for life: confidence, kindness, resilience, and teamwork. Kids learn how to regulate themselves, connect with others, and discover the joy of learning that lasts a lifetime. And it works. Schools using Kokori have seen behavioral referrals drop by 25%, and teachers save hours of planning time. Whether you're a teacher building a safe, positive classroom, or a parent wanting your child to grow socially and emotionally, Kokori makes it easy to bring these life skills into everyday learning. So if you're ready to help kids grow stronger, kinder, and more confident while creating a community where every child belongs, visit kokoriapp.com. That's KIKORI, where kids thrive together. Hey, it's Hilary from the Getting Real with Hilary show. Life can be messy, raw, and real. And sometimes we're afraid to feel vulnerable. We're afraid to be that real self. Well, that's exactly what the Getting Real with Hilary show and Getting Real movement is all about, being our true selves. Every week, I bring you stories of transformation, authenticity, and hope. People getting real with their struggles, their faith, and their breakthroughs. So don't miss a thing. Subscribe to my weekly newsletter today. You'll get stories, links to everything new, and how to create a life you love every week directly to your inbox. You can also find my books on Amazon. My courageous and riveting memoir, The Second Piece of French Toast, in case you feel stuck in your life and want to get inspired. How I came out about my no sex life in my marriage, in my second book, Real Talk. That one will get you speaking up in ways you've been too afraid to do so, and really creating amazing freedom. And my third book, How to Stop Fixing Yourself and Start Having Fun, the name is called Your Bullshit is Your Blessing. Find links to everything and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Getting Real with Hilary, and you'll find the links in the header. So visit, and you can also visit gettingrealwithhilary.com, because the real you is worth it and wants to come out. And thank you, as always, to KikoriApp.com. If you would like to, you saw all those happy children in the commercial. If you want to bring that to your kids, go to KikoriApp.com and schedule a consultation. They have brought it to schools all over the country. And these children are so happy. They love learning again. And it's really making a huge difference in the course of their lives. So don't miss out. It's really quite phenomenal. And then, you saw my books and all that. And also just a shout out to all the people who sponsor logos you see under the show. Thank you all for making this show possible. And now we'll get back to Robyn Jamison. Hello.
Hi again.
So, okay. So would you say that you have supported yourself? Because I know a lot of people, when they go into art, and you even had it in your book, you can't make a living as an artist. Would you say that you have? I know you did some other things, but that you were able to. Wow.
Yeah, I was doing art full time for 12 years. And that was when I was doing the ceramic work.
Wow. So, okay. So,
and I have sold other work and paintings and sculptures and such, but not full time. That was the only time that it was all I did. It was my full income.
Wow. So, okay. So that myth is debunked. You can make a living as an artist. Amazing.
And I think the key for me was, that phrase, know thyself.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I had been showing my work in galleries, but I found that it was hard for me to make myself keep up with the demand, actually make work on speculation.
Mm-hmm.
Although it's different for paintings, but when I was doing that. And so I found that what worked for me was to have everything commissioned, because then I would take half the money down at the point of commission and have to deliver. So that kept me really staying on it, really, really getting the work done in a timely way. So that really worked for me. And I liked being sort of outside of the mainstream art world. Also, I like doing it on my own.
So 2 questions. 1, did they ever not like it? Or did it not matter? And B, when I see artists, they're like, oh, I don't know if my stuff's any good, blah, 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 blah. Were you ever like that? Or did you just really have confidence?
Yeah, there was, yes to both. So when I took the commission, I told people, if you don't love it, I'll do it again. But I never, and that was their agreement. And I had that happen twice. And one of them was someone I kind of knew I shouldn't have done it in the first place. I kind of had the sense and didn't listen to myself. And the other one was just kind of out of the blue, and I redid it, and it was great. So that was the first question. And the second question was what again?
The confidence. Like some people say, oh, I'm an artist, but I'm not very good, and blah, blah, blah. Like they're not.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get that confidence? Or, would you say you have it now?
I do have it now. But not always. I didn't always have it. In fact, I went through a period where this is going to sound weird maybe, but where I thought I wasn't an artist, like, oh, I'm in the wrong thing. I'm not an artist. I'm not any good and I shouldn't do it. But I've been told that your job as an artist is to make art, not critique it. Leave that to someone else. And everyone has different tastes. There are people who love my work and people who don't.
Wow.
And it's a big thing in the work that I do with people in the magic of modern art is to set aside the judgment. So a lot of times people, one of the things I consider a counterproductive belief is that people think that the point of looking at art is to figure out whether or not you like it or whether or not it's any good. And that gets in the way because that's not what it's
totally in the way. Like, don't like, right?
Yeah. Door shut.
Yeah.
Saying, I don't like it. And you're out of there.
Now, when I'm sitting there, let's say you brought me to the museum and I'm sitting there looking at a piece. Like when I see something or I get the feeling, like, would you say that let's say when you were making your own pieces, that you experienced that making it? Like, is it on purpose? Yeah.
That I experienced? No.
So you don't like do it on purpose,
Do what on purpose?
Like let's say my little thing here, I just painted the colors. I just put them on. I didn't really think about it. But now I'm going, oh, look at that. I almost see the shadow. I almost see the movement of it. You know what I mean? And I never really, it was just here. But so what people get, like I remember reading books in English and I had this one woman and she could see the mythology and all this crap. I couldn't see it at all. And I always wondered, did the writer put that in on purpose? Or is this just someone reading it, finding, the leaves or whatever they were moving and that symbolizes it? Like, do you know the question?
Absolutely.
Okay, right.
So artists are very intentional. And whenever, like, I had people go, well, that's a cool piece, but I can see the paint, the pencil underneath. So it's not good craftsmanship or something. And I say, listen, assume that it's all intentional. And if you have a reaction that something shouldn't be the way it is, that's an opportunity to look at yourself, to look at what has you think that, rather than to assume that you're right and the artist is wrong.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, it's being an artist is a profession. Just like being a doctor or being a dentist or being a journalist, it's a profession. And it's, there are basics to learn. There are skills to learn. There is knowledge to have that, so that you are making informed choices. And plus there's a lot of physics involved in making art. How to put the layers of paint so they don't crack in 10 years. Or if you're doing the sculpture, you have to know if the materials you're putting together, if one expands faster than the other in humidity and it's going to crack, or how to weld, or how to use tools the right way, and how to create certain effects, and all the things with materials and size, and there are many, many decisions to make when you're making art.
Wow.
So
never thought about it,
Yeah, I know. And when you look at a piece of art in a museum and it's so regal, and it's so formal, it's easy to forget that's a person who did that.
Yeah. And it's like, how do you come up with it,
Yeah.
Because it's so subjective, right? It's,
it's
not like a math test where you have a right answer and a wrong answer.
Yeah. It's not random.
It's not. Wow.
And the artists I know are super smart. And a lot of us, like when I was doing the ceramics, I was running a business. I was doing the sales, I was doing the accounting, I was writing the materials to promote it. There's all the stuff behind the scenes that artists have to do, and that can be really challenging.
Wow. So I'm going back. When you said you were married to an art dealer, this was from the book. When was that? Was that Fort Worth or was
that was way later in, let's see, I think we got married in 1989.
So that was not Otto.
He was my art dealer first before we.
But that's not your current husband.
No.
No, okay. So the art dealer. Okay. So did he help you as a dealer or not really?
Yeah, he sold my work. And we did a lot of I got to meet a lot of artists and people in different cities. So we would travel to get art for him to show.
Yeah.
A lot in Santa Fe. And Chicago. We there's a fabulous show in Chicago called SOFA, and it's Sculptural Objects Fine Art. And it's really a very fine craft show that's staggeringly amazing. And so we did a lot. It was really fun getting to do a lot of those things, and we went to openings all the time, and we knew lots of the artists in the Dallas community, which is where I lived then.
Wow.
And that's also when I went to graduate school.
Oh, okay. And how long were you married to him?
9 years.
9 years. And then when did you meet your current husband?
I met him, we're married 16 years. So I met him 2 years before that. So 18 years now.
Wow.
Time flies, let me tell you.
And is he an artist too?
No, he's a nerd. He was a computer programmer, a software developer, and he's now retired.
Wow.
He's a brainiac. He has he's very intellectual, very very smart, very he's a huge reader. He reads really tough philosophy for fun and math sometimes for fun.
Where did you meet?
We were introduced of someone who knew, but a close friend of Otto's and an acquaintance of mine introduced us.
Isn't that great? All right. I want to go to, I know we've talked about your art. I want you to tell them about your birth mother and that they were, yeah.
I can't tell you the whole story. I'm actually going to write another book about it, but,
okay.
But,
so we have like 6 minutes, I would say.
Okay. I won't, do you want me to take the whole time or just part of it?
Well, let's leave us time to tell them how to find you and all that stuff. Okay. What you're doing.
I'll do the short version. Yeah. So I was interested in finding my birth family starting pretty young. My adoptive parents were opposed to it. The state of Missouri didn't allow us to get any information. I had an adoption file that had what they call non-identifying information. Stuff like my father played piano, he was tall, he had blue eyes. But I tracked down my mother.
How?
Then years and years later, amateur detective work.
Wow.
At one point, I actually hired, 2 different times, I hired a private detective. I tried to do a search through the adoption agency, and it was a dead end. My mother did not want anything known. She really didn't. And so I actually did find her, and she denied being my mother and asked me not to harass her. She felt harassed that I found her. So that was, and I've been looking for 35 years. So it was a very abrupt ending to a long search. And then years later, so I gave up. What I found out is
Were you crushed? That's terrible.
Well, kind of, but not that much. I was used to not having a relationship with my mother already. It was weird. It was just that I had been looking for so long, and then all of a sudden there was nothing to do.
Yeah, right.
It was like, okay, that's the end of that. And then I thought, well, I'm just never going to know any of my family. And then, and I was reconciled to that. And then years later, I took the 23andMe DNA test. But I only did it for medical information. I wanted to know if I needed to be concerned about anything. And lo and behold, I ended up getting connected with my family on my father's side, and then also ended up finding a cousin on my mother's side. And it turns out that my family, my birth family, is full of artists and journalists and filmmakers and writers. And it's just full of creative people and very accomplished.
Wow.
And I actually found out that I have a first cousin that I'd known for years and years. And we didn't know we were related. So that was really cool.
Do you look alike at all?
I look a lot alike some of them. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
My father, I didn't get to meet my father. He had died 3 years before I got connected.
Oh.
But I've seen pictures and I've seen videos. And when if we had been the same age, we were like twins. He had bigger ears and longer between here and here, and everything else was like identical. And then I have a half brother who, he and I look a lot alike too. I do look like them. And it was great because I never had met anyone that I looked like before.
And they were artists. Isn't that amazing?
And they're full of artists. And
that's so cool.
And they're Canadian.
Yeah.
They actually moved from England to Canada. And so not all my relatives live in Canada. My adopted family was tiny. I didn't have children. My cousins didn't. And, but in this family, like, they've really been fruitful and multiplied. I have a cousin in Israel who has 8 children and 19 grandchildren.
Oh my God.
And
so
one family has kids, and so it's a big family.
Wow. So you don't know how you got to St. Louis, right? You never.
Yes, I do.
You do?
Because I have my cousin on my mother's side knew the whole story. In fact, she knew about me before I found her. And she was just thrilled to get connected. And we're close now. And she lives here. I moved to Vancouver in May, the end of May. And one of the main reasons was because my family's here, a lot of the family members, and I wanted to get to know them.
Wow, that's so cool. All right. In the last few minutes, I love that story. So in the last few minutes, tell them what you do and how they can contact you and where they can find your books. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I do museum trainings. I do trainings for docents. I do programs for art educators. I do private Magic Modern Art tours where I'll travel to where you are. I do group tours as well. I do presentations. I'll do just about anything. I'm on a mission to have a world where everyone, everywhere, experiences the magic and wonder of modern and contemporary art. And by the way, you can buy the book. The best place to buy my book is on themagicofmodernart.com. It's a much more beautiful printing than the one you would get elsewhere. And then also, I meant to mention, I'm working on the Magic of Modern Art for kids. And I also have a children's book that was recently published. Is it okay if I just hold this up, Hilary?
Yes, please.
So this is called Freegal, the Magical Imaginary Friend.
Oh.
And it's a story about imagination, and it's told from the point of view of the imaginary friend. And then it's all illustrated and everything.
And did you illustrate it or no?
I didn't. I did not illustrate it. I tried illustrating it and didn't like my illustrations.
Okay.
So I didn't. I didn't find a better one. There's a couple of ones that have all the characters in them. Oh, this is kind of a cool one. This is the imaginary friend telling the little girl, deciding together what they were going to paint.
Oh.
Art class.
Oh. All right. So your website, magicofmodernart.com. You can go there, get Robyn's books, and then you can see her art on Robyn Jamison. You can see how it's spelled, ROBYNJAMISON.com. Some of her art. And what else? Oh,
and this Robyn at magicofmodernart.com.
Okay, Robyn with a Y. And then that little book you said, the kids' book, you said they should find on Barnes and Noble.
Oh, the kids' book. Yeah, the best place I think is Barnes and Noble. And then also I just want to mention that anyone who contacts me, I can give you, there's a flip book of that walks you through the Magic of Modern Art tour that you can use a QR code or go to and take yourself through the Magic of Modern Art tour. Of course, I think it's better when somebody's guiding you, but it's a great second way. And I want to emphasize for everyone, looking at art on a screen is nothing like going to and seeing it live. So I highly encourage you, go to museums, go to art shows. That's where to get the goods.
Wow.
Um,
So if
and
you,
then I was on page 147 of my book, there's a QR code that takes you to that flip book.
okay. Page 147. Okay. And then, yeah, here it is. I don't know if they could scan it from the computer, but maybe. All right. So in the last, I would say 45 seconds, if your vision came true, how would you see the world?
I would see long lines to get into the museums like they are in Paris.
Yeah.
I would see artists thriving because there was so much appreciation that people were just flocking to own art, wonderful contemporary art in their homes. So artists would be thriving. The orientation schools would increase their art programs and have them continue through all the way through high school instead of ending after 6th grade. Art would just be as ubiquitous as music is in our society.
Beautiful.
And as much beloved.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Robyn. This has been really fun. Thank you for your passion and your purpose and your dedication to art. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity and for the great questions. I had a blast. Thanks so much.
How good. All right. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for watching this episode. I started getting real with Hilary when I discovered that I was a people-pleasing, pleasant phony and wanted to be more of my real self. We can grow together if you will like the show, subscribe to my channel, and share this episode with your friends and family so that we can have a world that's more real.